African culture, a child belonged to the people, to the community. But as we went on, things changed.
European settlers had large farms here in the central province. They left when Kenya gained independence. Then Kikuyu and Komba people moved out of crowded reserves and bought the land. They gained a new life, but left behind old community ties and support systems for children.
Nobody thought about children. Nobody thought children were that important.
They said a child had no right even to speak. The children's rights have been really trampled. Child abuse. Some of these things, when they happen, people don't want to speak about them. They just want to keep hush.
A combination of risk factors can lead to a child becoming more and more vulnerable. It could be poverty, immigration, the death of parents, and, of course, AIDS.
And you could find that even the relatives were not taking care of the children. You could find that the property left behind by the parents of these orphans were being grabbed by the relatives.
Margaret's family had already been struggling to get by. Then AIDS came and pushed them into crisis.
When my dad passed, I remember I had no vision of going ahead with my education, and I had given up, but somebody came.
Lydia Mungai came as a home visitor.
How is Mum?
Part of a group of caregivers assisted by World Vision. She found Margaret was facing the despair of being orphaned. She was falling into even deeper poverty and felt looked down on by other kids.
Yes, Mum. How are you? Still taking care of the children? Yes. I have come to visit.
Children like Margaret face an increasing risk of being exploited or abused.
We were trained. We started going on and visiting the orphans, giving them gift in kind. There are some rescuing them from their parents. They were abused. They used to be beaten. Some were used to traffic drugs.
Community members stayed away from households with AIDS out of fear of catching the mysterious disease.
Before, we could not visit one another. Even myself, I could not have courage to go and visit them. They could not come to visit me. But right now, because of the education we have been given, also the heart now is large enough. You feel you want to share with them. Go to you these things so that you can cook for the family, at least for 1 or 2 days.
I'm feeling that I'm not alone. I have somebody who is caring for me.
You know, we walk long distances. Some shoes just get finished. So there are a lot of charities. We are going to donate to others, and your house don't have anything. So you need to be extra active.
Jesus said to help the poor.
Lydia Mboa, another group member, says her motivation is to be like Jesus.
So even if you call us midnight, we are up and take step and go.
Their group of caregivers, made up of men and women and Christians and Muslims, even rents farmland where they work together to grow organic food for the orphans.
For me, it touches me that people are giving in their needs. People are not giving out of plenty, they're giving in their need. They have had crop failure for 3 consecutive seasons, but they're still able to go back to their pockets or even go and look for work to be able to help the orphans. For me, that it's really moving, touches my heart also.
When I see people doing that, I'm motivated. It's very encouraging for the poor, helping the poor.
You feel you want to give. Even those who are vulnerable also, they come to visit me. Can I assist you in this? So the community is touched.
The group has faced obstacles in their journey to care for the most vulnerable. Some parents and guardians resist any help, feeling the group wants to interfere in their lives. But when group members see a child in trouble, they show courage and speak up. They have become advocates with and for children. Their group now has 77 members, caring for 1,500 orphans and vulnerable children.
When they start focusing on the most vulnerable, they attract more people. They attract more people to also continue to start focusing on those children. And before long, everyone is willing to help and everyone is wanting to do something to make a difference, because caring for each other gets contagious. So right now, there are many vulnerable children. It's easy to exclude them, but you just have to ensure that the systems in place are always looking out for the most vulnerable ones. Yeah, I think that you have to be intentional. ADPs have to be intentional to reach out to the most vulnerable children, the most vulnerable people in communities.
In recent years, Kenya has enacted stricter child protection laws. Along with training and encouraging caregivers, the ADP has been educating communities and government workers to look out for children.
Our children are taught in schools the rights. So you hear the children demanding his or her right.
We as the Children's Parliament, we've tried to raise our voice to the leaders so that they may apply necessary changes. Yeah.
One of the things that was happening in Kenya is that during harvesting, children were involved in coffee harvests. It was not easy to get those children from those people.
There are quarries and there's a coffee plantation somewhere around, and there were many children who were being employed. And after we told our leaders, our member of parliament, I think he went to the president and he told him about what is happening in our area, and now many children are going to school and children are not being employed again.
Anne is 19 years old and has her own beauty shop after taking a vocational training program run by a group of NGOs partnering together. But back when she was 15 years old, her family's poverty forced her to work at a coffee plantation where children like her were exploited.
It was not legal because I was very young, and we used to work for so many hours.
Anne can now support herself. She wishes other children could have the same chance at a future.
I think Jesus would go and look out for those children who do not have food and make sure that he's doing advocating, that the Ministry of Education makes sure that those children are admitted to school, that the Ministry of Health makes sure that those children are able to access the health centers. Yeah, I think that is what Jesus would do. He will make sure the structures are in place to reach out to the poor ones, and he will also go out in his pocket like these people are doing and help that poor child.
Amen.